Sorry, I not hear you. 1 minute. Are you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Baru dengar. Saya baru dengar you all. Alright. So today we just continue our lecture. You have a question? You have question? No question. Everything okay? Assignment 2 okay? Okay tak? Assignment 2? If you have problem with your data, which is some student, they said that no, they have only 2 variable, so there is something wrong because the instruction for assignment 1 is 3 variable. So and then I go through your assignment also. There is some student still do what I'm not saying, and then some student just give me a graph without the explanation and so on. So I'm not sure how to help you in that way. So if you have that problem, if your data is not have three variable for the assignment 1, so you need to consult with me. You consult with me so that you can do the assignment 2. Okay, do you already start the assignment 2? Already start or not? Oh, you are confusing now. Already confused a lot of thing. No answer. Senyap je. Senyap je, kita cancel kelas lah hari ni. You okay tak ni?
Okay, doktor.
Okay. So setakat ni you all boleh follow tak apa yang saya ajar?
Boleh, doktor.
Betul.
Boleh, tapi kena study jugalah.
Kena study personal jugalah ataupun in group lah. So far you memang tak ada soalan So kalau tak ada soalan, saya just proceed ni tau. Saya proceed. Okay, we proceed to the next, which is we have a factory design before this. Okay, I'm not sharing yet. So we have factory design, which is we have 2 level and so on. Okay, we have this, and then I also already go to the what? Go to the Excel. But actually the video is we face some problem since at that time I use 2 laptop, and then one of that laptop my laptop not give problem for the mic, and then another laptop is very slow of the sound tu, slow sangat slow. Even the ada student kata dia tanya dia nak saya tak sure siapa, dia kata dia nak record. Supposedly you record je. Sebab saya tak dengar pun sebenarnya ni. Bila saya tengok recording tu saya dengar clear. Baru saya dengar clear you request untuk record. So kalau you request untuk record, just record je. So saya tak ada masalah lah. Okay. So this step saya rasa kita tak pergi, saya just go ni. So the point here untuk what iteration. So if not parallel, is not parallel, so meaning now we discuss on the factor. We have a few level of factor, of two factor. So if not parallel, so there is an interaction. If parallel, for example, we have parallel interaction, this kind of line we can find by using the mean. Okay, this is the marginal mean that I already showed at the previous class, last week. So this from the mean of the graph that we get before. So from here, actually the question maybe can ask from the graph, and then also from this value, the marginal mean value, so that we can determine is it there is not parallel or parallel. So that once we decide not parallel, so not parallel meaning there is an effect, but if parallel, so no effect. So you remember one lah, there is parallel meaning there is no interaction effect, meaning the factor is not main factor lah. So main factor which is not no effect. So the factor is no effect, but if like this also no, there is parallel, so parallel is no interaction effect for the main factor. So if here we have there is not parallel, so there is not parallel meaning there so we have interaction effect. We will conclude, we can conclude that they have a interaction effect. So why here we also can see the difference. We need to find the marginal mean here, and then the marginal mean here. So you just create another row and then another column here to find, and then you observe the changes of the marginal number here, so that you can say that if here you can see that the number will be will same, meaning there is a one point will be intersection. One point is intersection here, so that you can imagine this line will be not parallel. That is the meaning of it. So you need to extend this table for the marginal mean calculation. The question also will be from this table also they can create, and then from this graph also. So it is easy lah. So here we can see the interaction effect there, and then so there is not parallel, but it is not parallel. So interaction effect on the response variable. Betul lah kan? Not ke dia salah sekejap. Not there is interaction effect. There is interaction effect. Supposedly dia interaction effect lah kan? Dan not parallel. There is not parallel. Parallel saja yang akan ada parallel. So dia parallel, no interaction effect. So sekarang why this have no interaction effect? Why this have no interaction effect? Supposedly there is not parallel. Why this not parallel? They said that no interaction effect. Oh, this is wrong actually. The changing from A1, A2 cause no change in the marginal mean. No factor B. So 6. So if we compare with this, there is interaction effect. Oh, you need to remember here. There is the different here. You need to remember here, which is if like this, okay, if like this, actually there is no iteration effect. So because of the marginal mean here, because the marginal mean here is same. So that's why I said that here no factor A effect on the response variable. Factor A no, but for the factor B, there is effect. So there is interaction effect on the response variable. Saya rasa dia salah tulis ni. Sekejap. Ada salah tulis ni. Not parallel. Because it's not parallel. Rasa dia salah tulis. Sini salah tulis. Sini salah tulis. So because it's not parallel, so not parallel iteration effect. There is salah pilih. There is wrong in writing. So if you go to the page 167, so there is we said that there is iteration effect because not parallel. So you remember not parallel. So we have iteration effect. If parallel, no iteration effect. You just remember one. Okay? Boleh kelas? Alright. Boleh tak? Senyap je.
Boleh doktor.
Boleh Nurul Aina, not parallel. So dia ada iteration effect ke no iteration effect? Nurul Aina. Tak ada. Dia tak ada ke sekarang? Nurul Aina tiada ke sekarang sebenarnya? Just on. Boleh tak? Nurul Aina? Aina di mana? Aina di mana kan? Di mana? Aina. Senyap lagi Aina Lama dia nak menjawab dia Nurul Aina. You ada tak dalam kelas ni sebenarnya? Nurul Aina? Tak ada dalam kelas. On sahaja. Alright. So that's all for chapter 4. So any question from the tutorial chapter 4? No, not doing the tutorial yet, right? Not doing your tutorial yet. I hope you can follow lah the different, and then you need to study and make your own notes so that you're not confusing with the, because in statistics they're very particular with what is the variable, how many variable that we want to consider, what is it we can count or not. That is very particular with that. So what should we do if there is a certain condition that you need to meet, and then you apply the rules. The keyword you need to identify. So you're not doing who already do the tutorial 4? Saya nak bagi bonus ni. Siapa dah buat tutorial 4? Ada tak? Tak ada. Jujur tak ada. Tak ada. Senyap. Maksudnya setuju dengan saya. Tak ada. Right. So tak apalah, tak ada. So next time you cari masa nanti untuk buat tutorial 4, so that you boleh jawab CA2 nanti. CA2 you macam susah sikit lah. And also the assignment 2 lah. Assignment 2 you need to submit. Nobody not get the meeting for the consultation for the assignment 2. So I hope that you try to make the assignment 2 as soon as possible, so that you can finish the assignment 2. Then assignment 2 and assignment 1 will help you for the grade lah, because there is assignment that no need to assume to not really need to, they have no time to answer that. There is not question lah, there is open question. So actually there is easier lah to you to get the marks. Okay, next we go to chapter 5, simple linear regression. So please here you go to this what the material in the e-learning, and then I think enough to answer the material here, and then you will understand, and the main thing is here, please make your time lah, please take time to study by your own. Please make sure, because I think some of you, maybe some are just less than 10% doing the assignment 1, something like just do it by not by just but ignore what that I'm already give you the instruction, the explanation, but that student not doing that, not doing what I said. That's, I think that is very difficult lah actually, because I cannot give you marks because you are not doing what I said. What suppose you do, you not doing. You just put the picture, you just dia kata ambil ringan, just macam asal hantar, something like that. Tak nak lah macam tu tak nak macam tu. Just please ambil masa sikit, buat serius, cuba fahamkan, which is once you faham this, then you boleh jawab CA2 tu. And then this is for your final chapter 5. We have a final CA3, we call it as CA3 later on. So the CA3 will discuss on the simple linear regression. So what is simple linear regression? What is simple linear regression? What is simple linear regression? We will, if you go to the textbook, they will cover everything in the chapter 5, 5.1, 5.2, 5.3, 5.4, everything lah at the chapter 5. Okay, actually what is this? What is simple linear regression? Actually to find what? What is the main idea for this chapter? What is correlation? So what is the simple linear regression? To find the To find the what? To find the
relationship.
relationship that before that I mentioned that we not discuss yet. The relationship between the variable. That's why we need to identify is it the variable we can count, that is what, nominal or ordinal. That is very important to the statistician to before they go for the next test, the next analysis. You need to identify that. For example, before this, for the chapter 4, we need to identify how many factor that involve. If one factor is just only one way another, if two factor, you need to take another test, which is we need to manipulate something so that we can put the that thing lah. Okay, so if you can see here the plot, do you can see the relationship, how the two variable are related? Boleh tak you bagi based on apa you all faham je? Apa relationship ni? Nampak tak relationship between the green one and the purple one? What can you see? Just describe. Cuba. Salah tak apa. Dalam kelas je pun, bukan exam lagi. What is this relationship? Pada mata kasar dengan bahasa mudah yang you boleh explain. Whatever language that you want to say. Boleh try. What can
Maksud doktor yang macam mana doktor?
It's up to you. Apa yang you nampak kat sini? Relationship between Y variable and X variable. Kalau kita compare plot green plot dengan purple plot, apa yang you boleh nampak kat sini? Apa yang you boleh cerita, yang you boleh bagi tahu, apa information yang boleh you tangkap dengan kefahaman yang you ada hari ini? Cuba. Boleh je, anything. What can you see from the plot? So, you cerita pasal plot tu. You tak nak cerita pasal plot, you nampak benda lain, bagi tahu apa yang you nampak. Apa yang you nampak?
Plot A, dia nampak ada trend.
Ada trend.
Clear.
Naik, menaik macam tu lah. Sebab apa? Sebab titik dia rapat-rapat
Ada precise.
Precise. So, plot B?
Plot B, dia nampak lebih bersepah.
Tu je sebenarnya. Maksudnya, okay, tu satu orang. Ada lagi tak yang rasa macam ada benda yang dia tak sebut, tapi you rasa ada benda yang you nampak daripada this plot? Ada tak? Ada tak? So, orang ni tak nak jawab, tak apalah. Okay, so if you can see here, you can see the green one here is what? Dia nampak rapat-rapat. So dia sebenarnya kalau kita bentuk line ni, kita boleh buat line, satu line dia naik ke atas. Ni kalau kita membentuk line, dia akan membentuk, kita ambil average, kita tambah tolak semua everything, cari mean dia, and then dia sebenarnya akan membentuk satu line juga kat sini. Cuma dia punya range spread dia very high lah, but here is very close to each others. So what can we see? We can see the linear. So that's why dia panggil linear. Line, linear. So line is equals to y equals to bx plus c. So that's they will apply lah here. the line equation, but they modified something here so that you can see the relationship. So we can see here the relationship is positive to the, because the slope is to the like this. But if the slope is like this, they're decreasing, meaning there is the relationship is negative. But this is very weak lah, weak relationship lah, because the distance between the point is huge. But here is a very strong relationship, because the point here will close and fit to the baseline, fit line. So later on we will discuss on the fit line. Alright. So that's why here actually in this chapter we will discuss on how to describe the relationship between two variables. So that we call it as a regression analysis. Can be used when we want to describe relationship set of predictor, which is independent variables, and then outcome dependent variable. So we can see lah, for example here, kalau kita makan for example here, okay, kalau kita makan ubat, maka hilanglah simptom sesama, something like that lah. We want to find the relationship between the factor that affect. Okay. So in this chapter, we need to identify the relationship between one predictor variable or one outcome variable. So here there is example. So we have medical application. So is there any relationship between BMI and the percentage of body fat? So we have this scatter plot, and then we have this scatter plot. So here we can see the pattern, right? We can see the pattern. This pattern will give a increasing pattern. There is a decreasing pattern. So here we have a few terms that you need to know. Okay. Later on we will discuss. So actually we can find the fit straight line to explain the relationship between two variables. So fit straight line ni, which is actually we will find the line that when we find the difference between the point, we find the baseline, which is once we take that line, so we can see the we can have the average line, that's relationship described by linear function. So that's why this line we call it as a linear function. So it depends on this line that's measure the relationship is very strong, weak, or not. Okay. So how to estimate the others data? So since we have this data, so how to estimate? So we have already this line, so we just extend this line. So that's why from this relationship we can estimate the relationship between the point, the data that we get lah. So use the we used to predict the value of outcome. So we can predict the outcome from this line regression, simple line regression. Okay. And then we also can use this line to explain how to change a predictor variable. We want to predict predictor variable that we have, and then the impact or outcome lah, the outcome variable. So that's why they come out with this theory. So there is example. So how can you predict the relationship between BMI and percentage of body fat? So if you can see here, if the increase BMI, so the percentage of body fat also will be increased. That is the, and then if you decrease the displacement, so MPG will also will also decrease. If you increase the displacement, so MPG will be lower. So they because of this lah. So you need to know how to read this graph lah. Okay. So what is it here? What is the variable in above plot? Is it a quantitative or qualitative variable? So dia qualitative ke quantitative? Quantitative, because we can measure, right? We can measure. If not measure, the qualitative. So quantitative, because of BMI displacement, we can measure. Okay. So here the rules, we need to identify the outcome variable, predictor variable, depends on the context of the question or situation. So we need to find how many dependent variables. One quantitative dependent variable, or many of independent variable, or one quantitative independent. So we need to know this thing, because if one predictor independent variable, so that's why we call it as a simple. But if more than two, so we have multiple line regression. So that is the difference lah. Okay. For the different variables, so we have variable that you are trying to understand or predict, and then independent variable that you think hypothesis to have impact to the influence. So this is, you want to find the multiple line regression here. Between the difference between simple regression and multiple linear regression. So it is depends on the variable that involved. How many variable that involved? Alright. So describe a linear relationship between two quantitative variables. So describe the linear. So how we want to describe? So how do you want to describe? This is we can describe by using the scatter plot. So what is a scatter plot? There is a graphical, there is something like this. We just plot, and then each dot plot refer to order pair XY data point on the two-dimensional graph. So we have two variable lah here meaning. When we use to explore the potential relationship between the two variable, and then to answer the question. How to draw? So x-axis, y-axis. So you need to remember here. This is the important one here. Y-axis, you should have outcome, response variable, or dependent variable, which is the effect. This is x-axis, the explanation, the independent variable, which is not depends variable. So that if you change this x-axis and y-axis, so what will happen? You will have a wrong relationship lah. Wrong relationship, because the graph will be a different view lah. For example, if you maybe you make mistake here, so you should have a positive graph, but actually that is actually the positive graph, but what you get, because you change this axis, so what you get the negative relationship. So that is, you need to be particular with this, right? Just remember one, which is for y-axis here, the y-axis is the variable that dependent, meaning the outcome from the previous from the another variable, independent variable, which is here is not, it is independent. So independent meaning not influenced with anything, but they independent. But here is influenced to the dependent. Dependent, they influenced by something, another variable. So that's why we call it as dependent. So just remember that here is dependent. That is depends on another thing. And then we get the they depends on the x. So usually it depends on the x lah. We change the x, so we the value, the outcome we change. Yang x tu yang kita manipulate lah. Alright. So there is how to plot, which is we will have a shape, linear, non-linear, curve, and so on. And then we have direction, positive and negative. Presence of outlier. Here we can find lah. Sometime maybe some data we plot just nicely. They are very close to the best fit line, but one or few point is very far away with the fit line. So there is outliers. The strength meaning is it very close to the best fit line or not. So there is numerical measurement, which is here the strength. How to actually we can find the strength by calculation later on. They have a formula. Alright. It can be difficult to see pattern when we have a lot of data point and overlap point. Scatterplot graphical method is allow us to examine and investigate the relationship between two quantitative variables. So two quantitative meaning we can count two variable. That variable that involved we can count. If cannot count, we cannot use the scatterplot. Okay, for example, the possible type of relationship. If x x increasing, y increasing, so we will have positive relationship. If x increasing, y decreasing, meaning we get the negative relationship. So we also have a few other relationship, which is if you get this pattern, which is the pattern is maximum. We have a maximum point here, and then they increase to the maximum point, and then they decrease. So we call it as a curvilinear relationship. If the data set is around this everywhere in this area, in this quadrant 1, so that mean this we cannot see the pattern. We cannot see this pattern, this pattern. So we can say that there is no relationship between independent variable and dependent variable. So that is our conclusion lah. Right. There is how to describe numerically the relationship between two variables. So what is correlation coefficient? Correlation coefficient is correlation coefficient. So it mean that coefficient ni pemalar reaction, coefficient correlation. So actually we want to find the value of the relationship. Is it from that value we can identify is it strong, weak, or medium? Okay. So how to find this? By using the R equal to this thing. So if we can see here, actually they find the distance between xi distance between the mean for x point and y point, and then square root. We use this formula lah, so that we can find the coefficient here, pemalar dia. So we can find, so we have positive relationship, we have negative relationship, so we will get the coefficient. So from that coefficient, actually from that coefficient we will have r equals to 1, meaning that is a perfect, meaning every point is lies to the baseline. But we have a strong coefficient here, 0.82 is strong. There is so we have weak, strong, moderate, very weak, very strong. So we have so here we can see the there is what, moderate or how? Moderate, weak maybe 0.2, 0.1. Okay, so now is it, there is a very r equal to negative 0.94. Is it very, very weak or very strong? R equals to negative 0.94. Can you answer? Is it very weak or very strong, class?
Strong.
Very strong.
Very strong, but in a negative relationship. Very strong to the negative relationship. If r equal to 0.094, so there is very strong for the positive relationship. So there is very strong for the negative relationship. There is perfectly relationship between in the negative relationship. Okay, that is the what cluster dah that we want to use. Okay, so now how to describe numerical relationship between two variable. Ada example? Actually here, how to describe numerical the relationship between two variable by using the formula lah. How to describe? So we need to go to the formula and find what, by using a number. By using a number, maybe they're not using the graph, so just by using the number here, you can what, you can describe numerically. Maybe they just put r equal to 0.07. If 0.75, what you can say, is it moderate, very weak, or strong? Actually there is subjective lah. Some say strong, some say moderate. So it depends actually. But if you get the relationship 0.9, 0.8, so easier lah to us to determine that is very strong or not. But if you take a 0.75, so it's quite difficult. Some say something like that. It is subjective lah. So usually if 0.6 is more easier lah, so we can say that it's moderate because it's close to the 0.5. But it's depend on your justification lah. It's depend on your justification why you say that very strong, not strong, maybe strong only, very strong. So that is the word that you need to use lah. Okay, sometimes it's subjective lah. Once for example we if you meet with the number of 0.75, you will there will something the view is very different between us lah. So usually I think for the your exam there will be 0.8 and above lah. So easier lah to conclude. Alright, because there is a bit subjective there for 0.7. There is also some said strong, some said moderate. That is the problem lah. But still have a justification why we can say that. If you meet the justification, is still okay. It's not really fixed for the because there is interpretation. Okay. How correlation coefficient relates to a scatter plot. So how to interpret R. So nearer to R to 1 or -1, so we say that stronger. So perfect. Nearer, just near, not very in the line. So we call it as stronger. Nearer to 0, we say the weaker. If R is almost 0, we can say that linear relationship may not exist. If the linear relationship does not exist, it doesn't mean that it does not mean the mean that it doesn't mean there is no relationship, because we have this also curvilinear relationship. So we need to get the scatter plot lah, so that we can see the pattern. Because if the scatter plot here, the key here, if we find R here, there will be almost 0. But you need to remember, we can say that for almost to 0, maybe we can say there is a maybe, still not concrete yet, that say that the linear relationship may not exist because of this. Linear relationship does not exist. It doesn't mean that there is no relationship. They still have a relationship, maybe curvilinear relationship. So you need to alert lah here. Here is the key lah, right? You understood what I mean? I hope you understood lah. Tak ada respon lah you all ni. Okay. This exercise. What do you think the correlation coefficient for plot A and plot B would be? So to validate your initial assumption prediction, calculate the sample correction by using Excel. So your Excel actually already designed. If you download the Excel, they already designed for the same example in this slide lah. So actually we can we can manipulate this data, we can move this data, so we can see what happened. So from that we can find the relationship between correlation. We can find the correlation coefficient by using Excel. Okay, so by using Excel. So you want to go to Excel now or how?
Apa doktor?
You want to go to Excel now or how? Just okay, after this I go to Excel. Actually there is the comparison between scatter plot correlation coefficient. So recall back what I teach you. So basis comparison, comparison with what? Scatter plot. What is scatter plot? We plot with the what variables. I cannot write here because I not download. So there is what is scatter plot? So we have two axes, which is independent and dependent variable. Correlation coefficient is the distance we find the distance, which is we need to find the R value. If the value R equals to -1 or 1, so we set it as a strong. If we go to the R equals to 0, so it's no relationship. But we need to remember, if no relationship, it does mean the variable is not relationship, because we need to find the scatter plot again. To see the scatter plot, so from there we can make the conclusion exactly. From the correlation coefficient, we cannot see the big picture, we cannot conclude directly, because if you can see here, if no relationship, does linear relationship might not exist, so it doesn't mean that no relationship. So that's why we go back to the scatter plot. So go back to scatter plot and then make the conclusion. They have a relationship after we see the graph sometime. Alright. So that actually the graph and the calculation, the numerical calculation, they need to support each other. So that is the basic lah. So here, actually this is just for recall. Right. So we go to the Excel. If you go to Excel, hilang lah. So you need to download the Excel. Tak boleh. Problem pula. Oh, dia tak masukkan lagi. Okey. Nanti saya kena minta lah, dia ada Excel dia sebenarnya. Saya ingat dah masukkan. Saya tak ambil pula. Hide from student. Ni YouTube je. Dia tak ada Excel lagi. Nanti saya kena minta. Okay. So actually dia ada Excel lah. Nanti kita boleh tengok dia punya ni, dan yang buat Excel tu dia dah buat ikut follow example dalam buku lah. So that senang untuk kita faham lah. Alright. So after that, actually I want to discuss actually for today, but you all tak ada respon lah. I don't know why. Makin lama tak ada respon kan. You all pening ke sebenarnya? You all pening subjek ni? Banyak benda
Sikit-sikit.
banyak benda kan, macam daripada chapter 3 tu sebenarnya dia memeningkan banyak orang. Dia memeningkan dia banyak formula which is you kena identify the difference kat sana, and then masuk ANOVA pula which is dia melibatkan 3 variables, and then dalam ANOVA tu dia ada lagi level dia which is kalau ada 2 factor you need to find two-way ANOVA, 2 factorial design lah. So 2 factorial design. After that Kruskal-Wallis, if the data is not normal. So anything the most important for the chapter 4 is we need to identify the data is normal or not yet first, and then after that we decide is it you want to use ANOVA or Kruskal-Wallis first thing for chapter 4 and then we need to determine after normality we need to determine either the factor is 2 or 3. So that is the thing that make quite confused lah actually. And then for the chapter 3 we have unknown standard deviation or not, kan? Tu yang jadi opening tu. Lepas tu unknown, lepas unknown we need to identify how many n greater than 30 or not. If less than 30 we have another test and so on. So if you can come out with a big picture what the difference between all this, is more easier lah. So if you can use draw.io to draw the big picture so that you can just see the different if the question the question like this, what happen in situation, what happen for the output when if the output like this, so what is our decision, what is then where come from the output come from. So there is a lot of thing lah there. So lama dah saya tak buka ni open existing graph, saya dah ada lah. Continue. Because ada dalam sebenarnya saya ada dekat drive saya draw.io ni you boleh buat besarlah sikit you punya notes tu in just one interface. Open the existing diagram, create new je lah kan, create new. So we have flowchart map, network, cloud engineering flowchart. Mungkin kita boleh guna wireframe tak apa ni sim flowchart lah, class diagram, flowchart discrete. Tak payahlah trash. Okay, trash. Continue. Boleh ke yang direct? Tak boleh juga. Okay, you may rest for 5 minutes or 10 minutes lah. 10 minutes. At 3 we will discuss again. So that actually here I just want to show you how to use draw diagram lah. Diagram. So that I think you need to click here. Click here. Continue. Okay, class diagram. Actually we can use a few we can share with our friend lah. So maybe we can say that here this is chapter 1. So you drag here chapter 1. So chapter 3 because chapter 3. And then what is chapter 3 cover? So chapter 3 cover known data, unknown data, unknown data. So unknown data, and then what we have, so we have for known data, how to known data, what is the keyword for the unknown data. So the keyword of unknown data maybe from the previous keyword dia, keyword kalau you find the keyword from the previous experiment. For example lah, dalam you punya CA2, they not said that there is unknown data. Not there is not direct like that. You need to know the keyword. How to know the keyword is from the, for example, is the keyword is from the previous experiment. That is the keyword. So that that's why I say that it's quite difficult because not direct that said that okay from known data we say no that there is not like that, the kind the type of question like that. So the another keyword maybe from where there is something the sample, the exercise, maybe you can see from the chapter 3. If you go to unknown data, okay, kita ada known data, and then for example, if you go they already state how many if you go to exercise, you extract the keyword exercise 3.6. So keyword there, you go to the keyword, you keluarkan keyword tu, keyword tu yang dia orang akan guna lah. For research conduct, compare that research. So we know that we get the data, the standard deviation we can there is unknown data, and then keyword lah, extract the keyword. Extract the keyword. So that's the skill that you need. If not, you cannot. You will confuse to use what's formula. It's quite difficult lah. So what should we do if the known data? So we have formula. So maybe you can put here formula. Delete. actually we can make it with your friend here. You invite, so your friend also can put the so formula here, and then you put the example here, example, example, okay, okay, example, and then after example, so everything you just summarize what the content the content in the textbook, and then example, and then solution here. Maybe there is solution. So in big picture you already can see just directly from this picture lah. And then maybe extra here you can take another thing, which is there is output from Excel. Okay, so bagilah example here kat sini. Okay, so there is for the unknown data. Okay, for unknown data, so for unknown data we have another two type. Okay, copy. See, we have another two things here. CV, which is we can have here and less or equal, less than equal 30, kan? Less than equal 30, less and greater than 30, or equal 30, greater than equal 30. If copy, make CV, so it is less than 30, so less than 30, and then you put the example here, example, so formula, and then solution. So if you do like this, just easy lah to deal with the this solution, to deal with chapter 3, because chapter 3 is quite a lot of things there inside there, a lot of formula, and then maybe here you can put the output from the Excel, okay, boleh tak macam tu? So copy CV, kita letak kat sini. Alamak, pening dah. Okay, so sini saya nak saya nak buat ni. So kita ada this point, and then with this point, and then kita ada another point which is with this point, and then kita ada juga untuk Nampara punya testing, mean Whitney test. So another one, dekat sini kita ada non-para, so you put another thing here, non-para. So non-para, you put here non-para. So this is non-para, which is we call it month, which ni test. So you put it like this, and then you put the condition. What is the condition for this? Condition for the Nampara, the condition of Nampara, you need the key dia adalah Apa key dia? The key dia nak normal tak? Dia tak normal kan? Not normal. Not normal data. Not normal data. Then you put the formula. Apa formula yang kita guna? Copy CV. Okay. You put the formula untuk yang ni. Apa formula dia? Copy CV. And then another thing, semua test dia semua ada 5 step je. So and then how to find the critical point, the critical value. So actually the big picture is only to differentiate. So if you cannot differentiate, it's quite difficult to answer the CA2. What is the keyword? What is the big idea of this chapter 3? So that is the main for the chapter 3. Chapter 3 punya discussion lah, right? So kita kat sini kita ada ni, and then the discussion for the chapter 3 lah. So just unknown data, and then yes, another thing is we have the not normal data. So that is okay. So here actually you can extend lah. So you can make it the green one, so that is more interesting to see. So don't make it by your own. Please make by group, so that not really takes time to have what we call it. Not take a lot of time to that, but actually you can just easily to understand. Then after that, you can go here, and then what is chapter 4? So that is chapter 4. Chapter 4 CV. So chapter 4 is discussed on what? Chapter 4. Chapter 4. Okay, chapter 4 discuss on 3 variable. The main idea here is 3 variables. So 3 variables. 3 variable. 3 variables. More than 3 variable lah. More and equals to 3 variables. So they also have one factor. So if one factor, if we have 2 factor, one factor, so meaning here is one way ANOVA. So one way ANOVA, and then if you go here, we have 2 factor, 2 way ANOVA. So you can see the different the idea from each chapter, and then 2 factorial design lah yang ni. Sekejap, kita nak buat ni. So this is 2 factorial design. And then you need to remember, each chapter will have not normal data, which is abnormal data. So you put in this side. So if the not normal data, what should you have? What should you take? For here is for not normal data, for the chapter 4, you need to use what? If not normal data, dia tak normal tak? Sekejap. Dia tak ada. Ada Kruskal-Wallis, which is we call it as Kruskal-Wallis. So please make this because it will help you so that you not very apa kata, dia tak serabut lah kepala otak you all kan. Okay, non-para maksudnya not normal data ni. So before we to verbal, so actually we have another thing here, normal. Kena check dia punya normal, dia normal ke tak. Check normal ke tak. So that is the big idea here lah. Check normal or not. Okay, so if you have this, so you can see the difference, and then you can see what is the formula if this happen, and then you can see the example. So just follow, make it clearly and then easier you to refer. That's enough. Boleh tak di kelas? Boleh tak ikhlas? Boleh tak you buat simplify macam ni daripada you all you tak, saya rasa kalau you all depends on that book tanpa buat you all punya notes yang memudahkan you all punya ni, maka you will get difficult still, difficult to understand, difficult take time to understand. So that is the different lah, the different. Okay, the different. So I introduce draw.io because is you can drag this big lah, the picture will be we can find the picture big, and then actually we can also print. Mana nak lah tu, okay, mana error dia kan, and then you can put the, and then 2 factorial, apa dia punya formula, apa dia punya example, apa dia punya output dekat macam mana output, you just copy paste output yang ada dekat Excel. You buat dekat Excel, okay, you can put the Excel, so you can see the difference and you can know the output. So there is example. So maybe the another level is if we want to compare with the output, so there is example output for Excel, because the question will ask if give the Excel output, actually what is where the value come from, so if you already have the summary here, just refer and then you can easily know, there is map to here, this line and then this flow, and then so you not the serabut kepala otak you all tu dah kurang serabut lah. Boleh macam tu? Boleh tak kelas? You letak you nampak kan saya punya idea ke you masih lagi rasa macam banyak bendanya, apa benda ni kan, so something like macam mana you nak faham. So dulu saya buat macam ni je sebenarnya untuk statistik. So I make, dulu saya tak ada lah apps macam ni kan, dulu tak banyak lah apps macam ni. Saya buat dalam salah satu paper, A4 paper, saya tulis kecil-kecil sebab saya nak nampakkan apa sebenarnya the idea, so that we not confused, sebab dia punya idea simple je sebenarnya. The key dia for the chapter 2 to mean, ada mean. For chapter 4 so we deal with 3 variable. So what actually the big picture. So from here you can get the big picture. Even the question is come from for example the outcome for the Excel, so you can see the Excel is refer to this, so you can see this is, then from that way actually you can easily to understand, and then the burden that you carry also less. Instead of you You just remember without understood everything that you know. Alright? And then maybe the terminology, the keyword tu semua you letakkan pada satu tempat lah, so that you easier to understood lah dia punya ni. Maksudnya you buat satu list satu lagi, which is there is list for terminology. Terminology, so that's apa. So please make by group lah, as I suggest from the earlier of our class. So make this happen. If you do not meet this, there will be a very heavy that you carry, the burden that you always will, what we call it, you always dia akan rasa pening. Benda ni kan, apa yang belajar ni tiba-tiba ni, lepas tu 5 step tu tetap sama, 5 step, tapi the key dia apa, kat mana yang dia test tu. Situ. Saya rasa kalau you boleh buat ni kan, bersama-sama dengan kawan, tak adalah banyak masa sangat nak ni. So mungkin seorang buat part ni, jangan buat semua. Bagilah orang lain pandai juga, kita pandai, kita sama-sama pandai lah. Boleh macam tu lah. You kena ada spirit tu. Nak pandai seorang, kita nak pandai, sebenarnya kita kena pandaikan orang lain. Kita insya-Allah kita pandai. Tak percaya, tolong buat. You tak percaya, try buat macam tu. You pandaikan orang lain, biasanya you akan pandai. Kalau you meniru, you sebenarnya takkan pandai sampai bila-bila. Rugi je hidup you sebenarnya. Masa you spend, you tak belajar apa pun. Kesian. Saya bukan nak cakap apa, tapi that's happen lah. Dulu ada cerita lah kan. Sebelum ni dia punya mindset ni, dia selalu dia ingat untuk berjaya ni kena meniru tau. You faham tak? Untuk berjaya ni kena meniru. Dia punya apa, world view dia. Kau faham tak? World view dia untuk berjaya kena meniru. So dia setiap kali exam dia akan meniru tau. Dia meniru setiap subjek. So what happened, ada satu hari Awang lah, contoh Awang nama dia Awang. Awang ni dia kawan dengan orang yang bijak lah. Dia punya sekitar tu bijak. Dia macam pelik lah. Kawan dia, dia meniru exam tu. Tapi what happened, dia tak lepas. Dia fail subjek tu. Dia fail subjek tu. Tapi dia tengok kawan dia tak meniru. Tapi kawan dia sangat excellent. Lepas tu every subjek dia excellent. There is one kawan dia satu, kawan yang kedua, yang ketiga, yang keempat, yang kelima. Semua rupanya mereka ni tak niru. Lepas tu at that moment, Awang ni pun fikirlah, macam mana orang yang tak meniru tu boleh macam mana boleh score kan dengan baik dan semua subjek pula tu. That is sebenarnya kepercayaan pada diri lah. Sebab dia sebenarnya Awang ni dia tak bagi kepercayaan kepada diri dia. Dia tak percaya dengan kebolehan dia. Dia tak percaya dengan kemampuan yang dia ada. Disebabkan dia tak percaya pada diri sendiri. Dia takut. Dia memilih untuk takut. So kalau saya ada ini, kunci ni sebagai ketakutan, and then saya ada another thing, saya ada buku ni sebagai kekuatan saya. So dia dah pilih dulu ketakutan. So apa yang dia dapat? Keberanian tu dapat kat siapa? Dapat kat online lah. Sebab dia dah pilih dulu. Katakan you pilih dulu keberanian. So you berani untuk gagal. You berani untuk menghadapi, maksudnya you berani, you tak tiru, you berani untuk cuba. Untuk cuba walaupun you rasa mungkin you akan gagal, tapi sebenarnya mungkin juga you akan berjaya. So from that moment, bila dia pilih satu keberanian, okey tak apa, mulai hari ni aku nak cuba untuk percaya pada diri aku, and then aku nak cuba untuk berjaya tu. Maksudnya macam dia nak cuba untuk berani untuk gagal tu. Berani untuk gagal. At the end sebenarnya dia tidak gagal, dia sebenarnya berjaya. Cuma proses tu, ada orang proses dia cepat, ada orang proses dia lambat. Ada orang proses dia perlu buat kesilapan. So from that moment dia start belajar untuk buat silap dan improve. Buat silap dan improve. So at the end dia berjaya lah pada apa yang dia nak, sebab dia berani untuk gagal. One step, macam mana you nak keluar daripada keluar daripada kejayaan tu. Maksudnya you nak mencapai kejayaan, you kena keluar daripada diri you, mentality you yang meniru tu. Meniru tu sebenarnya tidak membantu pun. So from that moment they start try dapatkan satu world view yang baru dan bertindak dengan cara baru. Kat situ bila dia tak mampu mencapai target tu, kat situ dia buat analisis. Kenapa dia tak boleh ni? Oh, rupanya dia tak faham bahagian ini ni. So macam nak faham, kat situ dia start untuk belajar dengan orang yang lebih faham. Kalau dia tak ni, dia akan jumpa lecturer atau maksudnya bertanya lah dalam kelas. So dalam kelas pun dia tak membuang masa lah. Maksudnya dalam kelas, one thing sebenarnya you dah spend masa. At least you kena faham something dalam kelas sebelum you keluar. Itu yang terbaik. So macam mana nak faham sebenarnya, dia kadang-kadang tu dia just start from bertanya saja. Just mungkin a short question that makes spark, and then you can grab the idea of that lecture. At least you tak buang masa. If you masuk kelas, you dengar tanpa ni, and then tambah-tambah lah online kan. Dulu okay lagi lah face to face, and then you get lecturer or your teacher can see the your punya reaction directly. But now saya pun tak boleh nak tengok apa yang you tengah buat sekarang ni kan. So that thing lah yang menyebabkan sebenarnya you jimat masa. So sekarang you kena fikir macam mana you nak jimat masa, tapi you boleh faham everything inside there. You boleh faham, you get the idea, and then you winning the game. You win the game. Game dia macam tu je. You know the rules. You berani untuk gagal. Sebenarnya itulah one step. Sebenarnya you akan pergi ke satu kejayaan, which is kat situlah dia akan buang segala you kata dengki, jealous. Bila you ajar orang lain, nanti kan orang lain lagi pandai pada you. Tak ada. Sebenarnya itu pun akan jadi keluar daripada pemikiran you. Because sebenarnya bila you ajar orang lain, orang tu tanya, so kat situ dia akan spark kat mana punya you punya soalan. That's why makin banyak you share, makin banyak you understood sebenarnya. Saya banyak bebel pula hari ni kan. So situ sebab saya rasa you makin lama makin diam ni. Saya tak tahu kenapa. Mungkin memang mungkin you banyak kerja, banyak subjek you face kat situlah. So saya tengok pun CA1 pun saya tengok ramai juga yang mesti meniru. Nampaklah you punya ni dia set yang berbeza tapi you bagi jawapan yang sama. Situ kita dah boleh trace lah you sebenarnya meniru. Dan kenapa you nak perlu meniru, sedangkan you tak boleh nak tiru pun. Hidupan ni sebenarnya tak boleh nak tiru. Even kat situ, that's why sebenarnya test tu just nak uji apa yang you nak faham. So kalau you buat macam tu, macam you tak menjawab lah something yang sepatutnya you boleh faham. Macam mana kita nak measure benda tu kan. Nanti saya cuba cari macam mana nak tahu kat mana kesilapan CA1 tu. Mesti dia ada method macam mana nak download. So you boleh tahu kat mana yang you silap jawab tu. So ramai yang silap jawab lah. Ada mungkin just a silly mungkin dia keyword tu you mungkin tersilap jawab sikit. Mungkin sebenarnya you tahu je jawapannya, tapi tak masa you tulis tu you tak tulis benda yang betul. You menggoreng benda yang berbeza, something like that lah. Saya nampak ada juga macam tu. So please take this serious lah. So buang rasa nak meniru. So cuba untuk berani gagal. Sebab berani gagal tu sebenarnya saya pasti you tak akan gagal sebenarnya. You akan lebih berjaya dengan apa yang sepatutnya. Dan kat situ dia boleh buang you punya rasa jealous. Dia boleh terapkan untuk kongsi apa yang you faham. you ajar orang lain, dan dia, itulah yang menyebabkan you lebih pandai. You nak kasih sayang, you kena bagi dulu kasih sayang kat orang. You nak ilmu, you kena bagi kat orang ilmu, you dapat ilmu juga sebenarnya. You nak duit, you sedekah, you bagi kat orang, sebenarnya you akan dapat lebih banyak duit. Betul tak? So daripada simple lah kan. Secara logik, dia tak logik lah hidup kita. You nak duit banyak, tapi sebenarnya you kena spend lebih banyak. Betul. Macam tak logik dia akal lah kan. Tapi that's happen lah. That is life. So attitude tu yang sebenarnya lebih mahal daripada skor yang you dapat hari ini. Mungkin skor hari ini you dapat sikit, tapi sebenarnya dia sangat bagi meaningful kepada you untuk the next, in future tu apa yang you dapat. That's yang saya nampak lah. So ramai sangat tak faham lah benda ni kan. So ada orang tu dia macam, sometimes dia kata dia dapat B, so dia rasa macam dah gelap masa depan kan. Tak, sebenarnya ada value yang you belajar. So macam mana attitude kita tu kita kena maintain lah, so that sebenarnya kita akan jadi one of, bagi impact yang besar lah dekat masyarakat. Sama juga pekerjaan yang kita jugalah untuk the next. Okay, and then kita ada satu correction coefficient, sample correction coefficient. So we have another part here, which is we need to have we can use hypothesis testing for population to find the correction coefficient, so that we can make there is no linear correlation or there is a correlation between. So as usual, we have 5 steps here. So there is a very detailed slide actually. We will discuss later, I think. We will discuss later and then make the decision as usual. Make the decision, and then after that there is a sum calculation. Use this 5 step. Use this formula R. This formula. You use this formula, and then actually the Excel will be given to you. So I will ask the PIC that made this chapter to put the Excel for you to discover how to find the R value from the Excel. I think that is the solution. There is example from the textbook. Short answer. So later on lah, I think there is later on. So after that we go to the aggregation. After that we finish. After we finish, I think there is more to. If you have problem with the what? If you have problem with the assignment 2, I supposed to discuss assignment 2 today and then a tutorial, but since no response, so I just continue the lecture. I hope you okay lah.